Ladies and gentlemen, it's too good to be true. Lightside Genos' Territory Battles Republic Offensive, the content that everybody's loving with zero complaints, has been canceled, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we just entered phase 2 today of this Lightside Genos' Territory Battle Republic Offensive. I mean, sarcasm aside, this is some of the most challenging content of all time. Developers said it themselves on their favorite podcast that this is supposed to be the most challenging content to tackle, and no one is supposed to master this anytime soon. So what we're going to talk about today is, one, what will it take to master Lightside Genos' Territory Battles? We're going to talk about exactly what the issue was with this Territory Battles, and then we're going to also talk about a little bit of this Hyperdrive bundle, which is longer than the road ahead blog post. Oh man, they've been really hyped about this Hyperdrive bundle, let me tell you guys. And you know, joking aside, there is some importance to what they're doing here, but I think they're being a little too excited about this. All right, so first things first, Republic Offensive, the issues that was going on basically is if you earned a star, let's say in the Southern Territory, it wouldn't unlock the next territory ahead of it. So after all that arduous grinding and all the pain you had to go through to maybe eke out a couple of battles, most people could not really eke out battles, and it was really just deploying your roster, hoping your guild can get a star in the end, it would unlock the next phase. So obviously that was kind of problematic, so they're cutting it off completely, as they're saying here. And they will be sending all eligible players rewards as a make good for these issues. More info on that later today, so hopefully find that kind of soon, because I was kind of hoping we'd knock out this Territory Battles, and it kind of keeps me up to pace with my General Skywalker farm and the Grievous Malevolence. And just to clarify, the bugs of this event is nothing to do with the difficulty. I know people were crossing their fingers hoping that maybe they accidentally forgot to flip the table. Well, you know, because in Darkside Genos is all the way to the right, it's the most difficult phase. Well, some people are hoping that maybe they forgot to flip the table and make sure that the difficult side goes on the left side. No, that difficulty you guys saw in Genos' Territory, that is intended as they show here. We will not be changing or retuning the difficulty for Republic Offensive. You know, I gotta say, it is very unfortunate that they already delayed Genos' Territory Battle as it was, which is fine. You know, let them take their time, make sure it's all good and dandy. I know they don't have the resource that we have at the Empire to make sure that anything they put out is the best quality stuff possible. But man, delaying it and then having the community find out they're just running into a wall of difficulty that is not tuned for what we have right now, and then finding out that you can't even play this content. We got to wait a little bit longer into December. Not a good release. If it was a AAA game, this would be all over the news. People would be laughing, making memes about it. We're a small community, so of course this probably won't see it a light today. It is very unfortunate this did happen. I'm hoping they do resolve these issues, because I would like to play. I know it is very challenging. I talked about this pretty extensively before. I kind of understand why they're making it this difficult, because they don't want to push out a Territory Battles and people mastering it day one. Basically, they're giving you hard content. They're going to sell you the solution in the future. That's how this game is designed, and that's what they're planning on doing most likely. And to kind of push this point a little bit further that I'm talking about, I want to show you this right here. This really puts into perspective what it's going to take to master Lightside Genos' Territory Battles Republic Offensive. And this should be probably maybe a wake-up call for guilds out there, because I know a lot of guilds that were barely able to do Darkside Genos' Territory Battles want to do Lightside Genos' Territory Battles. And as you see, the difficulty basically doubled from Darkside Genos' to Lightside Genos'. And this is kind of important, because you don't want to be wasting your guild's time, most likely, trying to do Lightside if you're going to do better off doing, let's say, the Hoth Territory Battles instead of Geonosis. It's just a bunch of numbers on the screen right now. I'll kind of point out the big things that kind of notice for your guild. I'll also leave a link down below if you're someone that's running a guild, or you're in a guild that's trying to prepare for this next territory battle. This might be an important resource so you guys can mathematically see if your guys are ready, because a lot of territory battles is mathematics. Does your guild have the appropriate roster built up to tackle this content, let alone aside the right characters being geared up, yada yada yada. But as you see here, just looking at the top zone of phase 6 of Hoth or Geonosis, as you see here, 60 million GP in the top zone of phase 6 Hoth, 78 million in the top zone for phase 6 Hoth, 200 million for phase 4 of Darkside Geonosis on the top, and then 453,670,000 for Lightside Geonosis. And I mean, the numbers keep getting more and more. Obviously, you have to look at the middle zone and the bottom zone. So really, the numbers I want to highlight right here. If you guys are trying to figure out what's the average, what's the total guild that the GP that each guild member needs to have, look down here. So as you see right here with Lightside Hoth, you need about 2.6 million GP. Let's just say that's a little bit less than that per guild member. For Darkside Hoth, you need 3.3 million, and then you need 4.3 million for Darkside Geonosis, which is kind of tuned appropriately to where the game is right now. And then you have this bad boy right here, 11,999,250 GP per member. And you have to have 50 of them to tackle, to complete light side Geonosis. Now, of course, I'm not expecting anyone to max out the stars right away, but let me just put this into perspective for a second. To put this in perspective, let's just look at some of the whaliest players of all time in Galaxy of Heroes, and one of them comes from the top guild called Maul. Now, this is, of course, reported players, but most likely, if you're a top player in the game, you're going to be at swgwh.gg, and this person right here has a ton of relics, obviously, a lot of Relic 7s, as we see, even Relic 7 Darth Maul, crazy stuff like that. Relic 3, basically every character is at least gear 13. And plus, you only can whale so far for Relic 7s. So I'm sure if they had the opportunity, they would have a lot more Relic 7s in their roster. And basically, the only thing they do not have, they even have a Relic, Relic 2 gear 13 Stormtrooper, more dedication than I do. Basically, the only character they don't have is Kiadimundi. And that says a lot. And this person, is only at 7 million GP. So, basically, it seems like this territory battle, just to get that 12 million GP per player in your guild, it kind of seems like you're going to need basically all the characters, let's assuming we don't get any more, relic them out to Relic 7, and I think maybe that'll get you to 12 million. I don't know exactly how the math is going to pan out, so there's a couple things that I'm kind of guessing that's going to be happening in the near future to kind of get us to that point where we can complete this. So last but not least, I want to talk about this Hyperdrive bundle very briefly. The developers have spent most of their time in the Road Ahead blog post they released not too long ago talk about the Hyperdrive bundle. The podcast they were recently on, they spent about 15 to 20% of the podcast talking about the Hyperdrive bundle rather than new content. And here as well, it looks like this is a longer post than their actual Road Ahead blog post, which doesn't really inspire the community. Like, I'm wanting to try to find some fun things to talk about. There's not a lot of fun things to talk about. I will say, though, I understand where this Hyperdrive bundle is trying to shoot at, because again, as some people know, I play other mobile games out there that are very similar to Galaxy Heroes, and I'm more of a new player. Games like Marvel Strike Force, when looking at this, I'm like, man, this does solve a lot of problems in regards to players getting over that initial hurdle. Because even from personal experience, when I try to get my family to play, like my little brother, for example, the beginning is not fun. You want to get to the point where you can start playing with these big characters, and when you have to spend weeks upon weeks just trying to 3-star the hard battles or even the normal battles, it's not as fun, it's not as juicy, and it takes you so long to get to a point where you can actually compete, have fun, get some of those good characters. So I do see some of the benefits of this Hyperdrive bundle. I think it's an okay idea, but I think they're kind of putting too much time into this Hyperdrive bundle. This should be probably something that just comes up in an update note saying, hey, Hyperdrive bundle's here, here's what it does. They're going to a lot of detail here. Basically, long story short, this is really going to help early game players and even mid game players who are still trying to 3-star missions or still trying to get a hold of certain characters. I do not think this addresses their core issue, is to try to help guilds get more players ready to go, because really at the end of the day, they're only giving you some gear 8 characters and 5-star characters. This bundle is not going to get you 6-7-star characters at all. And really, when it comes to territory battles, might be a little bit helpful for a little bit, but it's not going to be that helpful, especially when you start needing 7 stars and higher gears and whatnot. Territory Wars gear 8 doesn't really do much, even for those lower end guilds. So unless they're trying to address like really early baby guilds, maybe that's more helpful, I suppose. But really, for guilds that are mid-game that need people with some 7-star characters or 6-star characters, because 5-star characters won't even get you to a point where you can tackle heroic raids, and that's where you get the good gear. And Traya, Han Solo, General Kenobi, core characters needed to develop so many teams out there. So there are some benefits to this, but I think their intended goal is going to fall a bit shorter. So they kind of explain it like this. There's 3 elements to this list right here, this bundle. Firstly, units. You're going to be getting a ton of units. They say that this bundle should boost a brand new account up to 600,000 galactic power, which is a pretty big jump. And that these look like usable characters that you do need. They're just not kind of built up to a point where you're going to be able to help out mid-game and end-game guilds quite a lot. But basically, let's say, I don't know, I'm just going to throw up some examples. You have a Hera Syndulla at 3 stars or something like that. When you buy this pack, it's going to bump you up to exactly 5 stars. They're not going to give you XX stars that go beyond 5 stars. So it's going to quickly escalate you to a point where 5 stars can unlock some key characters for you out there, or key legendaries. Same thing with ships. A lot of new players, they don't have time to chase after things like Grand Admiral Thrawn's Chimera. It's already bad enough ships isn't that exciting of content. It's it's not really core content that people are shooting after, and the Chimera is so outdated. So this is going to help you speed things up so you can try to unlock things like the Chimera, perhaps even enough to unlock the Millennium Falcon. Just kind of unlocking these things kind of gets you a long way, and then you can kind of build it beyond that, so then you can finally enter those guilds that need help, and to also be giving you some 1-star capital shifts. And there's going to be a bunch of resources. This looks like it's going to be something helpful for everyone. Apparently there's going to be things like Chirotech, only 100 Chirotech in there, which I guess it's better than nothing. And I think this is actually probably the most helpful, because let's say, for example, I played Marvel Strike Force. It is really annoying. I've been playing the game for several months now. I'm still trying to 3-star missions, trying to max out all the challenges. It takes a long time, especially the grind that's in the game. By the time you finally master all these, it probably is going to take you, what, 6 months to a year. And people want to start getting into more of the fun content, being more involved in territory wars, Grand Arena. That's where all the fun is right now in Galaxy of Heroes, for me at least. And the cool thing is, this will take you straight to level 85 right away. It's going to unlock specific PV tables. You're going to get the light side battles knocked out, including the hard stages, dark side, the Cantina battles, so you can start farming right away. It's going to unlock the mod challenges. Doesn't unlock the 3rd tier, it looks like, which that doesn't really help out too much, but hopefully you can maybe unlock those yourself, and then you get the challenges knocked out. And if I'm right, this is referring to the Tarkin Zeta Mat challenge. That is kind of huge right there. That's a big moment when you finally are able to sim the Zeta Mat challenges, because getting Zetas, a steady flow of them, is so crucial, because without Zetas you can't really build out these characters. So overall, it's just really meant, I mean, the thing that I see this addressing most is helping people escalate to quickly get those key characters, the exciting stuff. Palpatine, probably things like BB-8 and whatnot. They don't give exactly what characters are going to be in there, so I can speculate. And then upon the purchase of the Hyperdrive bundle, there's going to be a variety of quests to complete. When you complete these quests, you'll get resources needed to advance these characters, such as gear and ability mats. And if you're already someone who completed all the quest challenges and you bought the bundle, you'll just get all the rewards right away. So I mean, overall, the idea is cool. It's just, it's unfortunate that there are solutions that make you spend money to catch up and just kind of escalate you to the next bottleneck, to the next crunch. It's not going to relieve all your problems. Obviously, 600,000 GP is quite a far away from the 12 million you're going to need for Light Side Genos' territory battle. But I think in terms of just getting people sticking to the game a lot longer, that's probably the thing I would try to sell more on this, because you're going to get a bunch of new people from Rise of Skywalker looking for Star Wars content to consume. They're going to find Galaxy of Heroes, and if they're stuck using Royal Guard and Jedi Councilor for 3 months, they're going to lose interest. They want the cool, exciting characters that got them to watch Star Wars in the first place, and that's the selling point I think they should be pushing a bit more, is to keep people engaged by getting those cool characters, keep them in the game longer, get new players to stay in longer, and hopefully these players who use the bundle get excited these characters, build their roster more, and then they should be closer to be more in a situation to help out guilds needing to fill in replacements. I don't know, just my few thoughts here. I like the core idea that they're doing with this. It's unfortunate Light Side Genos' territory battle is not looking too good right now. It's new content being bugged already and very difficult without really a forewarning. Not a good start. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know down below, what are your thoughts and all the news that we're breaking down today? Hopefully the developers can fix this. I would love to get back into it and see how difficult the cam mission is for Ki-Adi-Mundi, because I want to help the community start preparing more, because right now, as we're seeing, super difficult content, and right now it's just so unknown what is needed to tackle this content. Like if you did enjoy the video, comment down below your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe so you're not missing a thing, and I'll see all you lovely people in the next video. Peace out, everyone.